Well, good afternoon to you on this Thursday edition of First Alert Weather Extra. It's going to be fairly short and sweet because there's not a whole lot that's going to change with this forecast, and you're going to hear me saying a lot that it is warm and it is going to be getting more humid with time, and otherwise nothing else is going to change. A live look outside on our various sky cams shows clear skies for the most part. A look at the radar, not really seeing any rain, obviously, since skies are clear, but there is some smoke visible. We'll zoom in a little closer. Some of you in the Sulphur, Carless area. A couple of fires actually evident here on radar. One just south of the state line, basically right there along the Calcasieu-Cameron Parish line. That's smoke that's drifting northeast. A heads up in and around Vinton. That looks to be a new fire within the last hour. There's another one. This is definitely a controlled fire in the Sabine National Wildlife Refuge. That smoke is drifting northeastward. Carless, Sulphur, heads up. And there may be other smaller fires that the radar just can't see. It's very normal this time of year to have those any day where there's no real weather concerns. Agricultural interest and land management issues will come into play and have fires across the area. Again, I can't stress enough, this is very normal this time of the year to have this before we get fully into the growing season. A lot of those land managers and whatnot like to burn off the dead vegetation. It helps the marsh, it helps timberland, whatnot, so it is overall a good thing. I realize some of you with asthma or other breathing issues may have issues with it, but best word of advice, if you have that kind of smoke around, just stay indoors. By the early evening, that smoke should go away as those fires are allowed to burn out. Temperatures, it is warm this afternoon, low 70s, even still 80 currently in DeRidder. Temperatures are up on average 5 to nearly 10 degrees warmer than where we were yesterday. And a look at the forecast for tonight. Not a lot changes with this forecast. The temperatures will technically be warmer by first thing tomorrow morning than they were this morning, but that's expected. I've talked about this all week long. Mid to upper 50s tomorrow morning, except near the coast, where we'll be in the 60s to start our Friday. Probably at least some patchy fog in a few spots, though I don't think the fog is a big concern tomorrow morning. For Saturday morning and beyond, fog may become more of an issue. As we go into the afternoon tomorrow, went right past the afternoon part of this, we'll warm up into the upper 70s to low 80s. I think Vernon, Beauregard, and Allen Parish, you guys have the better chance of reaching the 80s for highs tomorrow. The rest of us, upper 70s, of course, again, except near the coast, where we'll maybe reach the low 70s for afternoon highs. So here's a look at the weather map. Not much changes here either. High pressure east of us, centered over near the Mobile, Alabama area. That's at the surface or ground level, giving us the southerly winds. Upper level high pressure to our west. That's the high that's going to become the more dominant one that's going to influence our weather through the weekend and likely well into next week. Upper level high pressure causes the air above us to sink, which is why I can say very certainly that rain looks unlikely for the foreseeable future. That upper level high also causes the air to sink, which is a warming process. Portions of Texas and Oklahoma may see high temperatures in the low to mid 90s by Saturday, possibly even as early as tomorrow. Now, you'll notice I did not say that for Southwest Louisiana. No, we're not going to be that warm, but we will be warmer than we've been for the last few days. And that high stays on the map likely well into next week, maybe even kind of bouncing back and forth east to west through the end of next week. And it's quite possible it stays in the vicinity well into next weekend as well. By nature, these upper level highs are usually slow moving, and models tend to try to move them out quicker than what they end up being the case. So we'll continue monitoring that. But the easy part, this forecast isn't going to change much through the middle of next week. Highs upper 70s tomorrow. I think most of us reach the 80-degree mark by Saturday, and we'll stay in the 80s well into next week. Possibly next weekend, a slight dip in temperatures if a weak front can make it through that upper level high. And that's a long ways out, and too many ifs to focus on that at this point. Let's talk about your marine forecast. You're trying to get out on the waters tomorrow and your Friday. Shouldn't be too bad. Southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas of 1 to 2 feet. Not too bad out there on the water. And again, no rain or storms around to interfere with those fishing plans. Best time as far as outdoors are concerned looks to be around 2:30 in the afternoon. Good time around 8 o'clock in the morning as well. Sunrise tomorrow 7:16 in the morning. Sunset 7:24 p.m. So all in all, not a bad outdoor forecast for not only tomorrow, but through the weekend as well. One more check of our 10-day before we wrap things up here. Lots of sunshine. That's going to become the theme. And again, the weather's going to get rather boring. You're going to get tired of me saying that it is warm and humid, but I'll take it personally over any other concerns. At least we're not dealing with severe weather or anything else of the like, which can happen this time of the year. And we'll keep an eye out for any such changes in the forecast, but nothing's going to change through at least the middle of next week. I'll be right back on television here in about 24 minutes or so for a 7 News at 6. Then we'll be back here tomorrow afternoon for another edition of First Alert Weather Extra. That'll conclude things, though. Hope you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. We'll send you back to regular programming now here on our streaming devices.